Good morning, students. How are you? I hope you all are fine and staying home to keep yourself safe from COVID-19. Students, in the previous module, we discussed about the land use pattern. Here in this module, we are going to discuss about the soil and the factors affecting the formation of soil. So, let us begin, students. Soil, the thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of earth and closely linked to the land, that is referred as soil. Landform determine the types of soil. Landform is topography. We'll discuss in the next slide. Soil is made up of organic matters, minerals, weathered rocks found on the earth through the process of weathering. Weathering, student? Weathering means the breaking of rocks by the weathering agent that are air, water and sunlight. The right mix of mineral and organic matters make the soil fertile. As much as better minerals and organic matters are mixed with the soil, that soil becomes more and more fertile. The first factors which affect the formation of soil is parent rock. Parent rock, also referred to as substratum, refers to the original rock from which something else was formed. It is mainly used in the context of soil formation, where the parent rock normally has a large influence on the nature of the resulting soil. Whatever type of rock is there, the quality of the soil will be depending on that parent rock. For example, clay soil is derived from the shale, while the sandy soil comes from the weathering of the sandstones. So, as the type of rocks are there, nature of the soil is also likewise. The term is also used in the context of metamorphic rocks, where again the parent rock or protolith refers to the original rock before metamorphism take place. Students, as you know that metamorphic rock is made up of either igneous rock or the sedimentary rock. So whatever the type of metamorphic rock is there, if the soil is formed from this metamorphic rock, the quality of the soil will be having the properties of this metamorphic rock. Parent rocks can be sedimentary, igneous or metamorphic. As these three types of rocks are existing, we have studied in earlier classes, so these are only parent rocks. Topography. Topography has a strong influence on the soil development. Soils on the side of hills tend to be shallow due to erosional losses. So whatever soil is there at these different land features, there is variation in the types of soil according to the different land features. Topography refers to the type of land. So here in this figure you can see there variety of type of lands are there, and in this way the different areas are having different types of soil. Soil on the top of the hill tend to be deep but lighter in color due to downward leaching losses, as there is slope, and due to this slope generally the retention is not there in that area, and that water slide off according to the slope, and there is leaching process occurring. Leaching is the washing away of nutrients due to running water. The soluble nutrients of the soil dissolve in the water and run away from the region, and this process is known as leaching. As here word is used, leaching. So this leaching losses causing the lighter color in the hilly areas, whatever soil is formed. Soils in the valley tends to be deeper and darker. Why? That valleys are the lowland area between the hills, and there the lowland area filled by the sediments brought by the river and the drainage pattern, or you can say the water canals, and that way that lowland area is filled by the sediments and having thick layer of soil and having dark color also, because that leaching process is not occurring there, and contain more horizons, means wider is there, and deeper soil layer is there. This is due to increased material deposition from hillside erosion. This thick layer of soil in the valley region is because of the increased material deposition from hillside erosion, material accumulation from the downward, leaching from the top of the hills, and the collection of greater quantities of water in the low-lying areas. So whatever the valley region is there, so that are filled by such type of soil. So this way, this topography affect the formation of soil. Now climate. Temperature and moisture, the main factor of this climate, influence the speed of chemical reactions, which in turn helps control how fast rock weather dead organism decompose. So this is deciding how faster that rock will break, and the dead organism how faster will decompose so that they can form humus. Soil develop faster in warm and moist climates and slowest in cold and arid areas. The vegetation cover. At times plants grow in the cracks existing in a rock. In the beginning, the plants grow in the hilly areas, taking the support of the cracks created due to the weathering process in the hills, rocks. With time, roots of these plants start penetrating in the cracks and make them wider. With the process of time, these roots of these trees are growing and going deeper and deeper and making the cracks wider and wider. As a result, the cracks disintegrate into smaller pieces and helps in the soil formation in the weathering process. The remains of dead and decomposed plants and animals provide humus to the soil, which enriches the fertility of the soil. So this way, two-way benefit is there, or two-way role is there of this vegetation cover. One is in breaking of rocks, and second is by providing the dead and decomposed humus material to the soil. The soil of densely forested area is generally very rich in humus content because of that vegetation cover available in the region. Time. All of these factors which were discussed in the previous slides work together over time. This time is very important factor. Whatever the changes are taking place naturally, that are not suddenly happen, that takes a long period of time. The older soil differ from the younger soils because they have had longer to develop. So the older soil took longer time to develop, So of course that will be different from the younger soil. As soil ages, it starts to look different from its parent material also, because due to the weathering and other component added to that soil. So the nature of that soil is slowly changing from the parent rock. That is because soil is dynamic. Dynamic means, students, you know that dynamic is related to change. So it is its components, minerals, water, air, organic matter and organisms constantly change the nature of soil. Components are added and lost. Some components are added, some are lost because of the leaching process, because of the high temperature, because of the sunlight, soil erosion. Different things are naturally happening. Some move from place to place within the soil, and some components are totally changed or transformed. So these all happening according to the change of time. Soil conservation. Different types of soil conservation methods ensure long-term uses of land and keep it productive for future generations. So let us consider their benefit in regard to soil conservation. Afforestation. It refers to the process of sowing seeds or planting trees in an area that does not have trees to create a forest. It does not mean that you are replanting the tree, means cutting the tree and then planting the tree. That is not afforestation. You are creating another area as a forest. So that is afforestation. According to the vocabulary, afforestation is the conversion of bare or cultivated land into forest. Means that land is without vegetation and we are planting trees and trying to convert it in a forested area. However, afforestation should not be confused with reforestation. Of course, there is a difference between afforestation and reforestation. Reforestation refers to the planting trees in a land with a decreasing number of trees. Reforestation is planting the trees in the region where already a forest is there and their plants decreasing due to the cutting of trees, and we are planting new sapling to maintain the balance. Stop deforestation. As afforestation is important, similarly controlling the deforestation is also very important. Deforestation is the permanent destruction of forest, usually so that humans can either use the cleared land or the trees. We depend on trees to provide food, shelter, to protect the soil from erosion and flooding. So to slow global warming and to give us oxygen we breathe. So these purposes are there to think why to stop deforestation. And how to stop deforestation? How can we help in this? There are 6 measures which can be adopted by us. Avoid bad palm oil. So whatever bad palm oil is there, plant oil is there, which is very cheap and that are usually obtained by cutting trees. That should be avoided so that we can reduce, as these palm oil are very harmful for our health also. Many of the packaged materials are using these palm oil, which is very cheap in price and very harmful for our health. It can be very easily avoided by us so that we can avoid cutting off trees for getting these palm oil. Purchase recycled paper product. If we decide that we will buy the paper which is recycled, then of course we are taking a step to reduce deforestation. Buy furniture made with certified renewable wood resources. These days, some renewable wood resources are used. Nowadays, you may have seen that different furniture materials are coming with very good finishing, but that are not obtained by the complete wood material from the tree, that are usually made by using the waste material of wood product, and that way it is very good for reducing the deforestation. Eat less meat. As grazing is done for rearing the cattle through which we get meat, as much as dependency over meat will be decreasing, their need of these animals will be required less, and grazing also can be minimized, and that way we will be helping to reduce the deforestation. Plant trees while you search. Means wherever you get a place where can be planted a tree, of course we should not lose this chance. Talk about reforestation projects with family and friends, and we should always be sensitive and discussing with our family members, with our friends, about the importance of the forest, about the reforestation. All these means we have to sensitize ourselves, our family, our friends, toward the environment, toward the forest. Now, another method which is used to control the soil erosion, that is contour farming. The soil conservation method provide efficient in slope territory and suggest planting species along the contours. Students, contour is related to such. See in this picture, you can understand whatever these different field has been created on a similar slopes. So according to the slope, the field has been plowed and used for agriculture. So if we are doing such type contour plowing, then we can reduce the soil erosion. Row up and down, this slope provoke soil erosion due to the water current, while row along the contour restrain it. When the water is sliding off on these contours, the speed of the water decreasing. The similar step is taken when the slope of the land is very steep. When a steep slope is there, that time we create terrace. So this is not terrace, student, this is a contour plowing, and terrace forming is done over the region where steep slope is there. Where gentle slope is there, that areas are used as a contour plowing. Now strip cropping. In this case, farmer combine high growing crops with low growing ones for the sake of wind protection. Like when corn grows in a strip with forage crops, the strips of cropping practice work even better when high growing crops are intensified in the sites where wind blow most frequently, And extra benefit is there is organic matter material from the low crops. Actually, this type of farming is done in those areas where the risk of wind is there over the crop, and we are taking a protective layer by making a strips of different types of crops, and that different types of crop, one crop is there having the higher height and another crop is having lower height, and that way the higher height means crop is helping to grow properly to the smaller height crops, and that way it is very much beneficial and saving it from the wind losses. Now, wind breaks. As the name suggests, this soil conservation practice is used to reduce the power of wind, and it, it is disruptive effect on soil, and these are trees or bushes to shelter crops from snow and wind planted in several rows. Here you can see this picture. This is a row of plant and bushes are there, which is helping these areas crops. If the wind is coming from another side, that wind will not be able to anyway disturb this side soil and the crop, and this way this is a shelter belt. Whatever these trees are created, that are shelter belts. Windbreak vegetation also provide living environment for wildlife. If these kinds of trees are growing, of course some wildlife can be getting shelter in these areas. Benefits of soil conservation. Humankind is general and farmers in particular benefit from numerous advantages of soil conservation. This agricultural practice contribute to sustainability of number of ways. Boost earth quality. This soil conservation boosts the earth quality and productivity, maintaining the natural environment for earth dwelling organism, increase the fertility and reduces the necessity of chemical fertilizers, thus boosting yields and saving cost at the same time. So this way there is a lot of benefit of soil conservation. Mitigates erosion. Erosion is also up to many extent controlled by this soil conservation. Soil conservation method to reduce soil erosion and depletion help agriculturists to avoid the expansion of new lands when territories become infertile. So soil conservation method help to reduce such kind of depletion of soil quality. Promotes water infiltration and increase its storage. As there is more and more vegetation cover and soil conservation methods are taken, filtration of the water is taking place very properly and underground water table is recharged. The soil conservation techniques of minimum tillage versus conventional plowing affect soil moisture by reducing cracking and evaporation as well as rising the infiltration rate. If minimum tillage versus conventional plowing, if this method is used where we are tilling less and we are adopting the modern techniques in which complete plowing is not done of the field wherever the seeds are required to sow, that particular point or the small area is plowed, and that way it is reducing the infiltration, and that reduces the pollution of that chemical which is reaching to the underground water table also. So these two type of benefit is there. Add air and water purification. As we are growing more and more vegetation for soil conservation, the importance of soil conservation relates to water supplies, and the earth functions as natural filters to purify water. As you know that the soil is playing a natural filter, role of natural filter, and soil conservation mitigates the concentration of pollutants and sediments. In its turn, water is the basic condition to dissolve nutrients for plant, and soil carbon sequen- sequestration and reduced chemical applications contribute to air purity too. Whatever these different measures are taken where we are reducing the use of chemical by using the scientific method to conserve the soil, we are our dependency over the chemical is decreasing, and we are trying to purify the air by our effort. Gives food and shelter for wildlife. Land with growing vegetation is living environment for animals, and it is not only the source for nourishment but their home as well. So this way it is helping in the form of providing home as well as food both. Now time to discuss homework, students. Here question D 1 and 2 from your exercise you have to do the E 1 and 2, it is there. Why is soil considered an important resource? Give any three reasons. Take the help of your textbook or this PPT video and write answer. Highlight any three causes of soil erosion. So three causes of soil erosion you have to write. Explain any five factors responsible for the formation of soil. So as five factors already given in your book that you have to explain, and at least 2 points about each you have to write. What is meant by land use pattern? Already in the previous module it has been discussed, so with the help of that you write this answer. Why is it important to study the land use pattern and list the factors influencing the utilization of land? This already has been discussed in the previous module. Take the help of that and write answers. So this was all about today. We'll meet in the next module. Till then, thank you. Bye bye, students.